Howdy. It finally quit raining after 10 days. But it's supposed to rain again tonight. Here in Sitka, Alaska, we get a lot of rain. Some years it's really bad. I've seen it rain almost all summer. Anyway, it's time for another story. About 12, 14, 15 years ago. Time is kind of hard for me to judge time anymore. But I met an individual who lived in Idaho. His name was Warren. And I'd go stay with him and his wife. Mostly I would go to Idaho. Well, I would fly down to see my mom in Seattle, and then from there I'd go over to Idaho. And he had one of those side-by-side SUV little four-wheelers, and he would drive and I'd navigate. And I used to go down and visit him all the time, usually around the end of September, 1st October, because it was really nice in Idaho then. It's about 75, 80 degrees and kind of cool in the mountains, and it was sunny. It was like having a summer I never had here sometimes. Anyway, I eventually got too crippled up. I guess it was about 5-6 years ago. I could hardly get on an airplane anymore, so I finally had to stop going down there to visit. But I took a lot of pictures, and last year he passed away, so I'll dedicate this to Warren. Anyway, I think I'll start a little story and pictures of the area that we used to go into mostly, and we really enjoyed the Owyhee Mountains. If you don't know where they are, they're kind of on the Oregon, the northern Oregon and Idaho border, just south of Blue Mountains. High desert country, and we spent a lot of time in the Owyhees. So I'm going to start there, and probably we're going to go to Leslie Gulch. Now, if you're ever in that area, you want to go to Leslie Gulch. So anyway, let's get on with my story here. Here's my friend Warren Collard. He lived out about 50 miles from Boise, over by the Idaho-Oregon border. And I'd go visit him, and we'd ride in his buggy. That's what we call it, the buggy. I can't really remember the brand of it. He'd be driving and I'd be navigating. Spent a lot of time in the Owyhee canyon lands. It's a very large area. A lot of remoteness there. A lot of people don't go there. Best time to visit would be in the spring, April and May, and I usually go down and visit Warren about the end of September, 1st October. And the Owyhee area was desert scrubland. A lot of it is mountainous with high mountain peaks and alpine valleys. And these great big deep canyons formed by the Owyhee River and some of the other streams were just gorgeous. The colors in the rocks are just incredible. Anyway, this is Warren. He's getting ready to unload the buggy, and we're about to take off into the Owyhee Mountains. Warren's buggy was a pretty sturdy little vehicle, 4-wheel drive. Got pretty good gas mileage. Like I said, I forgot what model it is or the make, so if anybody knows what model and make it is, go ahead and write something in the comments section of the video and remind me what it was. Anyway, it was a lot of fun to just run around in. We traveled all over in that thing, and other areas in Idaho too, and I'll probably have stories about that. But right now we're in the Owyhees. I enjoyed it there in the fall with the multiple colors, not only the rocks, but the trees, you know. There's Russian olive trees, and there's all kinds of willows, and higher up we get into the aspen. But it was just first of all, I had a second summer. Sometimes I didn't have any summer at all in Sitka, but I enjoyed coming to Idaho here and having a second summer. By fall time, you know, it's only 70, 75 degrees, and even cooler sometimes up high elevation. But I just really loved it there. This is the road. It drops down into Leslie Gulch. And you start out pretty high, I think about 4,000 or 5,000 feet elevation, and then it drops down a couple thousand feet down into Leslie Gulch, down to the Owyhee Reservoir, Owyhee River. But you can start to see some of the rock formations down there and the multiple colors of the rock. Just a fascinating place. During some years we'd get an occasional rain or a little bit of water late in September, and the desert would start to green up again. There was one year I was there, and it was pretty incredible. You had the fall colors in the trees, and all the spring flowers were coming up again. It made quite a contrast. Extremely beautiful. You can look at these rock pillars here, part way down Leslie Gulch. Kind of a cloudy day, but it's still, on this trip, it still showed all the different bands of rock and so forth. Good rock hunting, fossil hunting, a lot of minerals and gems in Idaho, especially in this area. If you're a person that likes to paint, this would be a great place to go. You know, just sit there and set up your watercolors. And on a sunny day with a blue sky here, the colors are just incredible. Here's an incredible view. I mean, that'd be just a wonderful place if a person was a painter. It was so nice to just sit there in the sun and 70 degrees and listen to the bugs and the little bees buzzing around. But, you know, some places had mosquitoes. What you really had to watch out for were the ticks. Because there's a lot of game and sometimes cattle in some of the areas. A lot of deer and antelope and so forth, and so it's tick country. Gotta watch out for them. There's all kinds of geological features like this. I mean, just out in the middle of nowhere, this oddball thing is sticking out of the ground. There's a volcanic crater too, just south of this area. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's a real fresh lava bed. Anyway, it was a fun place to visit too. In this canyon wall, you can see the black, the yellow, the oranges, the beige, the browns, whitish rock. Boy, I'll tell you, that geology right there has a story to tell. Owyhee Lake is really a pretty place. Actually, it's a reservoir. Steep canyon walls and sagebrush and other colorful flowers in the water. I think there's bass, crappie, rainbow trout. There might be brook trout. There's quite a few fish in this lake. Actually it's a good place to go fishing. Got crappie and sunfish and all kinds of things. Here's a rock wall. It looks like something got squished in between there, between that red rock. What a story these rocks could tell. Now look at all the colors. I was just amazed looking at it all. And nothing's the same. Everywhere you look, it was a different color, a different rock structure. This looks like some volcanic rock that had got squeezed between some other rock. And wow, what a place. This is a wide spot in the Owyhee River. down in the canyon. It's kind of slow moving. I didn't see a fish at that time. It's in the middle of the day, but in the afternoon and late in the evening and stuff, you can see the big trout starting to rise. Not many people fish it. One reason is that you go in May, and by June you want to get out of that country. It gets extremely hot. I think it'd be like Death Valley or something. 100, 110. Some people have claimed it's got up as 115. So it doesn't really cool off to the end of September. So middle of summer, you really don't want to be here. Here's a great big herd of mule deer. You'd see them in bunches like this all the time, running together. I don't see any bucks in there. I think they're all does, this bunch. Out in the flat prairie areas, you see a lot of antelope. There's a bunch of them out here feeding. There's a few ranches in the Owyhees, private ranches, but usually you can go through the gates and there's no problem or anything. But you find the antelope like this. They're more in the areas where you also see the cattle. There's a few pictures of antelope here. They'd watch us for a while, and then all of a sudden they'd just bolt, and that'd be it. They'd be gone. They'd just take off. I think antelope are one of the fastest running land animals in North America. When they want to boogie, they can boogie. The Owyhee Canyon lands has got the largest population in the United States of these desert California bighorn sheep. I think there's over 200 sheep in this area. See them quite often, usually on the rocky cliffs. There's a big old ram here. But you're almost always, we saw sheep going down into Leslie Gulch. And a few other areas like Reynolds Creek and a few other that have got little bands of sheep here and there, mountain sheep. Desert bighorn, I guess. I don't know if they have any permit hunting in the area for them or not. I didn't ever bother even asked about it. But there's quite a few sheep, and as long as you stay in your vehicle, like in Leslie Gulch on down the road, if you stay inside your vehicle, they'll hang around real close. But if you try to get out of your vehicle, they'll scurry back up into the rocks. Talking about rocks, the Owyhees are just great for rock hunting, fossil hunting, minerals and gems, and just amazing. I always thought if I ever left Sitka area, I'd move down to this area. I'd probably get myself a tumbler and a rock saw or something, but a lot of rock, a lot of beautiful rock. Look at the bands in that rock. Yeah, it looks like it got laid down and then it got turned up sideways vertical. Now this is a real strange rock formation. Look at that. I guess maybe it's volcanic. I don't know. There's so many different kinds of rocks. It's volcanic and sedimentary and other rocks, and it's all just jumbled together. It's just an amazing sight. I guess that's why everything's so many different colors with all the different minerals. While hiking up into a little canyon, I found these tracks. I don't know, Bigfoot? Just saw the one track there. Was it Bigfoot? I don't know. Some of the areas up in there you can find what they call pictographs. Here's a couple here, aren't too far from the road. Here's a close-up of one of the game birds, chukar, I think. Lots of chukar and quail and pheasants and ducks and the little ponds and lakes and grasshoppers and bugs and just all kinds of neat stuff that we don't have here in Alaska. Big flocks of wild birds and butterflies. Oh my gosh, all the different butterflies and bees. Just such a wonderful place. And of course they've got wild turkeys. And they have I think it's a spring turkey hunt there, I'm not sure. Other wildlife I saw in the area, of course, were rabbits, coyotes, lots of coyotes, and badger. I seen some badgers in there. Now at the time that I was visiting, there were wolves coming into Idaho in certain areas. But there hadn't been any reports of wolves yet in the Owyhees. Here's my friend Warren. He'd like to shoot at snakes. In this area here, I can't tell you exactly where it is, but they have located some Native American graves up in the rocks, but I'm sworn to secrecy. I really don't want anybody to go up in there and bother them or anything. In some of the areas they have wild horses. This is a little group of wild horses here. We saw quite a few of them up around Reynolds Creek, and I think there's I can't remember the name of the place. Up at Sitka Creek, headwaters of Sitka Creek, there's quite a few wild horses. This is typical wild horse range. They like it kind of open and flat. Plenty of water running through the creeks, and a little brushy here and there. Gotta watch out. There are snakes out there. Lots of little valleys with willow in it. There's no moose, but there are elk in the area. Beaver dam here. But if you're into geology and rocks, it's a paradise. I mean, I've never seen so many different colors of rock and all twisted and broken up and different layers and fissures, and it's just incredible. You've got dark rock, light rock, yellow rock, orange rock, red rock, black rock, all kinds of things. It's just a beautiful place. There are steep, deep canyons everywhere. A lot of little streams like this. What's odd is it's desert, yet there's different little springs, cold water springs that literally pour out of the side of the hill. And there's some hot springs in the area too. Now all these little streams like this, they all have trout in them. Some have rainbow, and I think most of them have some kind of brook trout probably. But you can see it's almost impossible to get to. I don't know if there's a way down into this canyon to fish that spot or not. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little story about my trips to Idaho. I'll have a couple more. Probably do one on the Snake River Canyon, because we spent some time up in there. And on the headwaters of the Boise River around Atlanta and up towards the Sawtooth Range and so forth. It's up in there I saw my first moose in Idaho, was up in the Sawtooth outside of Atlanta. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and I'll try to keep putting them on here. Till then, catch you later.